everyone. Okay, so we didn't get the Lu-Shin team-up I wanted in this mini-arc, but in retrospect, I think it was better served by only focusing on Shin, because not only do we get an introspective look into how loyal and devoted he's become to not only Taro, but also protecting the Sakamoto family as a whole, but we also get a really good look at how intuitive Shin himself is in combat, and how he can kind of turn a disadvantage into an advantage. Like from pretty much realizing as to how outmatched she was, and being unable to, in order to properly read the assassin's thoughts, he he realized he needed Taro's help in fighting the assassin, but he couldn't bring himself to either get Taro directly involved either. So what's the answer? Make the fight public. Turning the fight into a stage performance allowed Shin to get as close to Taro without directly involving him. But and again, it's that little thing that I think really gave Shin the development of seeing, yeah, he can kind of think outside the box, even when he's facing a disadvantage. But still, and I like and I do like how I do like how after like getting close enough to Taro, he was able to use his powers to telepathically coordinate with, like Shin was able to use his telepathy to coordinate with Taro, and like again, credit where it's due to the manga authors, Suzuki. He can come up with some really creative ways to utilize Shin's powers through basically the limitations that are imposed upon them in any given situation. And just the fact that he needed Taro's help as well is indicative of just how much Shin still has to learn, and how much more he can still learn from Sakamoto. And just in general, I do appreciate this chapter more for giving Shin the moment to shine. These past couple chapters to give Shin the moment to shine, to really show, yeah, he's not just sticking around for Sakamoto. He's on board for the long haul. He's on board for everything, and really learning the same kind of lesson that Sakamoto learned, which is the value of life. With that said, though, I do want to dig into the assassin's speech about like about fear, death, all that kind of thing, because it's a it's a fascinating concept to dig into. Where, for me at least, the the less I've thought about death, the less I've feared the concept of it. But I think that's also because, in all honesty, I don't have all that much to lose. Like I've already lost a lot in my life, so it's like you almost kind of like, I'm not saying I want to die right now or immediately, but it's one of those things where when death comes, I'm gonna probably more welcome it with open arms than I'd probably like to think. But but when talking about Taro, yeah, it's a little harder to outright deny even the slimmest bit of truth to basically what the assassin is saying here. That for as powerful as we perceive Taro Sakamoto to be, the fact that he did settle down, he married the woman he loves, had a kid, like, it naturally does. When stuff like that is put on is placed in your life, it naturally does give a person more concerns and fears in life that we sometimes kind of put on a brave face for, that we kind of hide from everyone else, including the ones we love. And while I well, in some respect, I do believe that does motivate Taro to remain vigilant of his own physical weaknesses. Just the fact that he does have a family now does, in a way, make him more emotionally vulnerable. And I know it's all speculation for right now, and still very early on. But again, this is another thing where it sounds like that where it sounds like you you Yuto Suzuki is really kind of just laying that groundwork, that Taro's continued desire to live for his family will also be what forces him to, in order to make himself a sacrifice in some regard. Like, he's going to have to he's going to have to he's going to have to do something in order to, like, sacrifice himself in order to give in order to make sure his family can be safe. Like something like that is likely to happen. I don't know if it's like going to be like a literal sacrifice, but he's going to have to sacrifice his own happiness in order to secure his family's kind of thing. Again, I get the vibe that that's where they're going with this. Um, and yeah. With that said, though, there is something inherently hilarious about this chapter with Shin knocking out an assassin in a bunny costume. Like it's one of those visuals that makes me say that makes me say when it comes to comedy, Yuto Suzuki must be a fan of Looney Tunes. Like there's no way he's not with the kind of ridiculous shit we see in this chapter and frankly the whole series up to this point. In fact, the more I think about it, I wonder just how popular Looney Tunes is in Japan as a whole. Because one thing I have noticed is a lot of manga throughout the years. I have noticed a lot of manga artists really seem to love that particular brand of comedy in their stories. But I like how. But so yeah, it's like how popular is Looney Tunes in Japan? I gotta know that shit. Kind of makes me wonder a bit. And yeah, I do like how ultimately this side story still had somewhat of a happy ending of them like stopping the assassin and still giving Hannah a great day at the amusement park. Although the fact that Aoi hasn't mentioned anything yet has left me suspicious that it's not entirely over yet. And just when that pin is gonna drop. Um, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and let's Crunchyroll with notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight signing off. Later, everyone.